It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. I'm Gary McNamara. He's Eric Harley. All right. Here is audio from President Trump yesterday talking about Commie Mamdani.
This is a communist. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. And
there you go. Yeah. Very good. It's a very important distinction.
Right.
Socialism is government controlling the capital.
Right.
Communism is government controlling the capital and all business and property.
Right.
Which is what he wants to do. Now, we had talked about, just during the top of the hour, about the Commie Mamdani supermarket.
That's right.
That he plans. Did you hear what his plan is? Because when he was confronted and said, well, you know, the profit margin is like 1% at supermarkets. It's nothing.
Right.
You know, how are you going to do it? And he said, well, because we won't pay property taxes and we won't pay a lot of the other taxes because we'll be nonprofit. That way we can compete. Let's see that happen.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
You know, I was thinking, I just wanted to mention this because I'd watched it last week when I was on vacation. I get to do, when I'm on vacation, I get to do things like recreational reading, which I hardly ever get to do.
All my recreational reading last week was New York Post, Washington Times.
That's not recreational. That's work reading. There's work reading and recreational reading.
That was my only interest.
Okay.
So it was like, you know, my wife said, it looks like you're doing, she goes, what are you reading? I said, well, New York Post. She goes, that sounds like show prep. I said, well, maybe, yeah.
But I was watch a lot of stuff on YouTube too when I was on vacation. But I thought after I saw the whole new Superman movie and the producer and the actor or director or whatever number of people coming out and saying, well, it's a political movie because it talks about an immigrant coming to this country.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
all right.
Nice way to destroy your movie up front. Of course it's political. And I told you that I had finally watched an interview with Jesse Cole. Jesse Cole is the owner of the Savannah Bananas. And I had known of the Savannah Bananas baseball team, but I didn't know the business model. And when I saw it, I said, okay, it's sort of like the Harlem Globetrotters. Never really paid too much attention to it. Never had really any interest in going to see a game or anything like that. And if I did, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I've tried a few times.
What an absolutely fascinating human being and business model he has.
Yeah.
He and his wife. Just mind-blowing. And the interviews that he does when people say, well, would you sell this? Because now he's got 4 teams. But it's his whole thing is about entertainment.
Yep.
And they ask him, they say, well, you know, how much money do you make? It's not about money. That's not our goal. What's your goal? 1 billion fans.
Yeah.
And he just talked about baseball. He said, you know, love baseball. He said, I go to a game and halfway through the game, half the people are gone.
Yeah.
Because what's going on here? And so he created Banana Baseball.
Yeah.
Banana Ball, which now I understand, and I'm like, I tried to watch a little bit of it on TV, and it's like, nah, this is probably something more likely I would have the greatest time going to with the kids. You go there with kids, you would have a blast.
Yeah.
This is the guy who simply has said, baseball isn't entertaining enough. I'm going to create something that's around baseball because it's still an offshoot of baseball. I love it the way that if the batter hits a foul ball and somebody in the stands catches it, it's an out.
They're out. Yep.
That's just the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
But I watched part of it when they played at Fenway Park. And in Boston. Everything's a sellout. They sell out. They sold out.
Yeah.
They were selling out football stadiums earlier this year. 80,000. The waiting list, if you want to go to a game.
Impossible. It's just impossible.
It's right now their waiting list. It's a lottery.
I was going to say you should buy a lottery ticket. You'll have a better chance of getting something.
The waiting list. You think about any other sport.
Yeah.
The waiting list.
Yeah.
To get a ticket to one game.
Right.
Is about 3.5 million people right now.
Yeah.
And you see how
people travel. I was willing to travel.
Well, I
was willing to drive for hours.
That's what he was saying. He said, now people come now. Yeah. The cities are coming now. Arenas are coming. Will you come and play here? Will you play here? Because he said if we play in a particular state, we are the biggest draw of drawing people in from all the neighboring states, hotels, everything.
Oh, yeah.
But he said money isn't a concern.
Right.
And it was a concern at one point because he was $1.8 million in debt, sold their home, sold everything to have his vision. And it's so funny because you don't want to take him seriously when he's performing and he's in his yellow suit and his hat.
Yeah.
And then you realize this guy has a strategy. He has a business model, and the business model is I don't care about money. I care about serving every customer. From everything from I'm assuming they still do the $15 all you can eat.
Yeah.
You go in there. They've got players and people outside to meet you 4 hours before the game. The players are out there.
Oh, yeah.
You go the afternoon.
And then during the game, they jump into the stands and start dancing with people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just great entertainment.
And the games are only 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're only
there's a clock.
If you're only in the eighth inning and 2 hours, whoever's winning, that's the end of it.
That's it.
And then the way that they do score, I still don't understand.
It's by the inning, and I'll get it wrong if I try and say it, but basically you win the inning. You look to win the inning. That's what you're looking for.
And the Bananas don't necessarily have to win the game because now they've created 4 other teams. I think the firefighters and the party crew or whatever it is. I think they've got 4 teams now. Mm-hmm. And he's going to start in a league next year. And it's like, even though the majority of people want because that was the first one, the Bananas to win, they don't care.
Yeah.
They win, it's great. If they don't, it doesn't matter. If they win, everybody's still dancing. If they lose, everybody's still dancing. And it's just, it's hilarious.
Each inning is worth 1 point to the team that scores the most runs. In the final inning, every run counts as a point.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy, but that's the whole thing, is that it's not like the norm. You may be cheering on the Bananas, but you're just there for the entertainment.
You're there for the entertainment. And when I saw the one at Fenway over the weekend, I think they played 2 games.
Yeah.
But the one game I saw, it was the ninth inning. It was absolutely unbelievable. And his philosophy was when they first started out, again, in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And, he said, we would have, they'd sell out the first game. It's opening day. He said, every day should be opening day. Every day should be a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing is, even though they have entertainment, they don't have, for example, on the video boards, no commercials. None.
Right. Yeah.
You know something? Minor league baseball, that kept me from going to some minor league baseball games because they would turn it up. It'd be very loud. The commercials from the video screen would be loud. I got sick of all that. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons I really stopped going to a lot of professional sports is because of all the yelling at me.
By the way, no bunting allowed in Banana Ball. If you bunt, you're ejected from the game.
Yes. You can't bunt, and you can't back off.
You can steal first base on any wild pitch or just even a passed ball.
Oh, wow. And you can't get out of the box.
You can steal first.
Yeah, you can't get out of the botters.
You can't step out. That's an automatic strike if you step out of the box.
Yeah, can't step out of the batter's box.
Right. That's an automatic strike.
And you see how quick it goes? I mean, how
Yeah.
quickly they throw. But it's the business model of it. And I was thinking about that when, you and I were just off the air talking about the whole Disney. Is it a Disney movie? Superman Disney? No, it's Marvel.
Yeah, they own Marvel.
Oh, okay, they own Marvel.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But the whole Superman movie about
No, Superman is DC.
DC, okay. Yeah. And the whole thing, it is political. It's about it. And I'm like, you just Hollywood just doesn't get it. And I went, This guy gets it. This guy gets it because people want entertainment. They want escapism. They want fun. And when you can't figure that out, and he talked about his respect for Disney, especially early on.
The new Superman is a Warner Brothers.
Is it Warner Brothers? Okay.
Distribution, yeah.
But when Hollywood can't figure it out, when so many can't, when they've got to sit there and no, we got to put our own narrative in, and you can tell this guy is just focused. He's just focused. He goes, no, we're not focused on anything but pleasing our customers. That's it. And I think tickets are what, 40, 50, and 60.
Yeah.
And, no fees, no taxes. They sell their own tickets.
Right.
No fees, no taxes. That's the price.
Right.
And they said, and they ask him all these questions, and what's your revenue? He goes, not getting into that because that's not our goal.
Right.
Our goal. I told you what our goal is. Our goal is to get 1 billion fans. That's what our goal is.
Yeah.
3.5 million waiting list.
Yeah.
To see a sort of baseball team dressed as bananas, dancing and having a blast. And, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm watching this with the biggest smile on my face, and I love when people come up with a business model where you say, well, that's how all businesses should be. Serve the customer, serve the customer, serve the customer, serve the customer, serve the customer. And he said, I'm not in it for short-term profit. I'm in it as it was almost like Mr. Fezziwig from Scrooge, basically as a way of life.
And on YouTube alone, they have over 2 million subscribers, so they're monetizing that.
Yep.
Their views on YouTube. I'm trying to look here because they do live streams. I was actually at a sports bar restaurant over the weekend, and they had one of their games streaming on the TV on one of the TV screens there at the restaurant. They're not getting, some of they have popular videos that the most popular, I think, a little over 5 million views. They're going to monetize some off of that, but this is a live event, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to, and good luck getting tickets.
It's a live and merchandising.
Oh, yeah.
Entity.
Yeah.
But
the experience would be, if you want to enjoy it, you should go watch it on YouTube if you've never seen it. Savannah Bananas. But it's because that's probably most likely the only way you'll ever see it. Yeah. Because most people just won't be able to get tickets. But the ultimate experience is the live experience right there in the park. Which, again, I've been trying to do for years. I just haven't been able to get tickets.
And what a novel concept.
Yeah.
Our business model is entertaining every person that comes to see us for the entire time that they come to see us.
Yeah. And they have a player named Stilts who, yes, walks on stilts.
Oh, my gosh. When he pitches, he's pitching down at the batter.
Yeah.
He actually pitches well. And it's like
they're all great players.
I know.
And doing all these tricks behind the back catches and both, all these insane things.
And by the way, whoever the opposition was, I watched, it was against the firefighters.
Right.
And, the firefighters doing the same thing. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
It's not the same as, it's not like the Harlem Globetrotters making fools of the Washington Generals. It isn't the same thing. Oh, the other thing he said is he had great respect early on for the Harlem Globetrotters, and then he said he didn't like where they went because he said they decided to do the same show every night. He said, we don't do that, which means he said our players, oh, my gosh, the cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah.
The banana nanas.
Yeah.
We're not grandmother cheerleaders. It's great.
I told you I saw
a
group that I recognized when they were on the screen the other day at the restaurant. I was like, I recognize the band that's they were in bananas uniforms. But then all of a sudden, the singer gets out of the stands and he runs down to the park and the band is performing. It was the All-American Rejects.
Oh, really?
And so they were at the Fenway Park game.
Yep. And they bring ex-Major League ball players to come in just for
sit in
to pitch or hit a ball.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep. It's a lot of fun.
It's just the fact that in this time where entertainment is almost gone,
right?
The industry entertainment has become so political,
right?
That I just didn't pay attention to them. And when I did last week, when I happened to see it and went, what is this guy? And see his business model, I was just so incredibly impressed.
Yeah.
Because he does have, they claim they don't care about money, but in essence, the billion, he goes, if we get 1 billion fans, we have our business model.
Well,
money's not a problem.
That's not a problem. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Wonderful to see, though. Wonderful.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Kicking off a year-long celebration leading up to the 250th anniversary of the United States in 2026.
We will have a celebration worthy of the anniversary across this entire next year.
This announcement by Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins during a pre-July 4th 250th anniversary kickoff event in Iowa.
We will have in August the biggest, most amazing American farmers market in the history of our country in Washington on the National Mall.
The August 3rd through 6th event includes market opportunities from producers and vendors from all 50 states, with Secretary Rollins offering this invitation.
Every farmer, every rancher, every producer from every state who sell their beautiful crops and their products and their pork and their beef to join us in Washington during National Farmers Market Week.
Details about the Great American Farmers Market are available online at www.usda.gov. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Oh, man, I'm telling you, what a day. It is.
I was telling you that I was doing, while we were on vacation last week, I was doing a lot of reading, and honestly, everything is so busy. There are so many things going on right now. For me, it's impossible to put down. That the stories we're coming across, just like they always do. And right now, it's just it's over the top how crazy it gets every single day. You think about it just in this one show, what we have covered. The attempted assassination of ICE agents in Alvarado, Texas, in Mission, Texas, and the left and how they've become violent. It's just been bizarre and gets more bizarre every day.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. All right, ready for Harry Enton from CNN?
Oh, yeah.
Talking about what he sees as the popularity of the America Party.
Okay.
Which now, by the way, is absolutely pro-Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, this entire thing makes very little sense to me. It makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. What are we talking about here? What is the size of Elon Musk's base? Well, I calculate it to be about 4%, just 4%, 1, 2, 3, 4% of all voters. What is that base made up of? Well, it's those who view Elon Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. We're talking just about 4% of all voters out there, because it turns out most of the people who like Elon Musk already like the GOP already. That is, they already have a party for him. In my mind, there is just no base for Elon Musk's third party in the electorate, at least initially speaking.
Okay.
Wow.
I like how he said at least initially speaking, because the way he did it, I viewed Musk's favorability and the GOP unfavorability and did the math on that, and that came up to 4% of all voters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how accurate that actually portrays what the party would be. Now, he did say initially what the party might be 6 months from now. But if you did get 4% of all voters and those voters vote Republican, you could change a few races.
Yeah, right.
The possible, and that's
Right,
that's what you're concerned of. I saw DeSantis said, get on to other things. Term limits. I'm like, term limits isn't going to make any difference.
That's not going to make any difference.
It's like, can we stop that?
Yeah,
finally?
I know.
It's like it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Do you think if, not to say the districts are mostly gerrymandered, but do you think if my congresswoman, if she was term limited out, that a Republican would get in?
Your district was gerrymandered.
You're right, it was.
It was gerrymandered.
You're right, it was.
It garried you right into her district. You're just blocks away from a Republican district.
3 blocks away.
You can see it. You can feel it. You can smell it from there. You can feel the freedom. It's just 3 blocks away.
Feel it?
Yeah.
My mineral rights are still in the Republican district, I believe.
Yeah.
That used to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I just...
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder whether he's really going to go forward with it. I really do. Or where it's going to go. Now, he did say 2 days ago, and we reported it yesterday, where he said, well, I may just be looking to get into a few races that could give us the edge. Well, what districts would those be? You're not really going to change many congressional districts. You'd have to be going after the Senate.
Right.
It would be tough to change the congressional districts.
Mm. Yeah.
And which ones do you get in? And if you're the spoiler, which means a Democrat wins,
you're not the hero.
Yeah.
And which means you go away even faster. Well, even before you become the spoiler, if it looks like, with the polls showing, it looks like you're going to be the spoiler or your candidate's going to be the spoiler, then at that point, then you're already losing credibility. Where you think you have credibility, it would be lost in that moment where the polls start showing you're actually going to be the spoiler and you're not going to win.
All right, so we looked at the whole Epstein thing yesterday. I did see that 2 of the influencers said, we didn't know we were going to get, basically saying we didn't know we were going to get those folders.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us the folders, and then we held them up.
Right.
And we didn't know until afterwards what was in it.
Right.
And we realized there was nothing in it. And and you had Tom Fitton yesterday. In fact, I think I have the audio from him. Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch. Now, Judicial Watch is really been about Freedom of Information Act.
Right. Yeah.
They go and they get whatever they can get. That's what they do.
Right.
But here's what he had to say about the whole debacle.
I got to wonder what is going on at the leadership of the Justice Department and the FBI to allow them to think that statements like as follows. This is a classic. Of course, we're suing for this stuff, right? And so they say the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So there's a client list, but it's not incriminating, so therefore you can't see it. There was also no credible evidence that found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. Well, give us the incredible evidence. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So they uncovered evidence, but it wasn't enough to predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So you can go line by line and kind of, go through this analysis that I'm going through. It may be unfair or overly critical, but in my view, unless you have the records to back up the conclusions you've drawn in a case such as this isn't worth much.
This goes back to February, and this is part of the problem that the administration has in this when they were promoting like crazy. And we played yesterday what the Attorney General had said. Mm-hmm. In fact, let's play Pete Ducey asking Levitt yesterday the question on it that she really didn't answer. Here we go.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
No, that's not the question that was asked.
And that's not how she answered it.
No.
So it's if you're saying she misunderstood it, it's on her to be clear, and that's not the question that was asked in the first place.
And she should have been out there yesterday.
Yes.
Yep. Here's to show you part of the problem that they have. This is Alina Habba back in February with Piers Morgan.
Epstein's case. It is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs. We have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway. We don't take it home.
Look, this is part of the problem when you deal with conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. The influencers yesterday that were out there holding it, you could tell they felt betrayed by the administration on this.
Yeah.
Why the hell were you promoting this so much? You're the people that you're the ones that promoted it, and now you're saying there's nothing there.
Right.
You're the ones that gave us the folders.
Yep.
You're the ones that gave us. We walked in and we didn't know this wasn't a part of why we were going to be there. Next thing you know, you handed us a folder. You specifically, they were talking about, gave us the folders, and we went out and we were holding them up and throwing them out. And what you do is you destroy. Look, I don't think the public at large is worried too much about this.
No.
But what I just don't think they are. This has been on for such a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't believe they are. But inside of it, you've got, when you take this particular issue here, and then you take where everybody's unsure right now, the loyal supporters of the president, where he stands now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, illegal immigration. Well, you believe that illegal immigrants that work in hospitality should be able to stay, but if they work in other areas, they shouldn't be able to. If they work in farms, they should be able to do it. You're getting some of the loyal. I don't know if it's going to hurt. Nothing can hurt the president. He's only got one term left, or he's only got this term left. That's this term. And but still, you had these people that were absolute Trumpers that are now going, we got burned. The influencers believe you could tell they got burned.
Yeah,
they believe but you guys burned us.
Yeah.
Why did you do this? There was no reason to do it. You could have simply came in and said, we don't know. We'll look at everything. We don't know. This is what happens.
We promise you the truth. That's all we can promise you. We don't know. We haven't seen it. When we get in, we're going to make sure that there's a thorough investigation. We review everything. That's our promise to you. That's the only political promise you needed to make.
But when you believe that part of your narrative has to please conspiracy theorists, this is the kind of knot that you will tie yourself into.
Because you set yourself up for failure because you don't know, because you're not in yet.
And part of this is something that you and I have talked about all the time. People wanting to be first and not correct.
Right. Because it doesn't matter unless,
first, meaning they believe their conspiracy theory is right, and they want to be the first to say, I was the one that called it out first, and now they all got burned by this.
In this situation, you really weren't going to get a win. You couldn't promise a win politically. Because if there's no evidence, you're only going to fuel the fire for conspiracy theorists. If it's the answer that we got this week, then you're just adding gasoline to the fire. Now, and this is how it's going, they're all part of the cover-up.
Oh, my gosh.
Pam Bondi, Cattell, it's Akash Patel, all of them.
Bongino.
Yeah.
Oh, you look at social media; they're getting blasted.
I mean,
you people, you betrayed us, you betrayed us, you betrayed us, and and it's like, wow. And what was the other thing? Oh, that I saw. Okay, it just popped out of my mind. Sorry,
But so now all three of them need to be fired. The conspiracy theorists believe they need to be fired.
I know what it was when I was watching Piers Morgan, and it's going back and forth. The conspiracy theorists from both sides. Wow, this is because Trump. You're hiding Trump. You're hiding Trump.
Yeah.
Well, what about Clinton? What about Trump? What about Clinton? What about Trump? What about Clinton? What about Trump?
Yeah.
Back and forth, and I'm like, okay, you're losing me completely.
Yeah.
If you're losing me. The public, this is more of an inside Washington thing than it is the average Joe walking around saying, it was an interesting thing what happened to Epstein.
Yeah.
When the whole thing happened, and you and I said, I don't know. No idea. I don't see the evidence that they see. So I don't know.
Right.
Like we say in a lot of court cases when people want to jump the gun, here's what happened, and I know this happened. No, you don't.
Right.
You're hoping that you guessed right, but you don't have the evidence. Like we didn't have the evidence on it.
Right.
But when you promote something that we're going to get, you're hiding this because there's a list, and then you get into power and say, sorry, there's a list, but there's nothing there. It's not going to cut it with so many of your supporters when you decide that we still need and we want that 5% of those people that support us that are conspiracy theorists. This is what happens.
Yep.
This is what can happen, and it did happen.
You're promising a victory to them, and you can't deliver. You can't necessarily do that because you can't necessarily deliver a victory. If there's no evidence, what are you going to do? Make it up to deliver a victory? Well, no, of course not.
866-98 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara. It's
Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So, yeah, the Trump's Energy Department yesterday, or the United States Energy Department, it's actually not Trump's Energy Department. I mean, it's under the executive branch, but Energy Secretary Chris Wright explains that the department released a report and found that currently scheduled retirements of energy-generating facilities coupled with delays in bringing new power sources online could lead to a rise in blackouts by the end of the decade. The DOE report found that with about 104 gigawatts of energy-generating capacity scheduled to be retired by 2030, power outages could see a significant rise if that capacity isn't replaced in a timely manner. We're just plain stupid as a country.
There's no reason we should be doing this.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.